So I get this question sometimes. How do you run a pre-written module, by the books? This is mostly from people who haven't done any modules. And last week we went over how to tailor a module, but we didn't exactly go over how to run one and what you need to do to prepare to run an adventure module. And the short version is by destroying it. Okay? But let's get into it, shall we? If you look this up anywhere, everybody everywhere will say, read the module first. And they'll say, read it front to back, back to front, read it again, and then read it again. Don't do that. I don't do that. I have never read a module from front to back before starting a campaign. I'll be honest. Here's why. Because your players are going to mess it all up anyway. Instead, what you really want to do is read just enough to gain the following: the general plot line, so what is going to happen in your adventure, the big bad evil guy's main motivations, who are their main minions, what kind of army do they have. You need the allies and the NPCs that are important to the quest line. Who's putting them out on this quest? Who will help them accomplish defeating the big bad guy? You want to have a pretty decent understanding of the most common monsters, as well as a handful of general encounters that might happen more often. And you need the major, most revisited locations. That's it. Most of this in well-written adventure modules, most of this is laid out in the first chapter. For me, I am a note taker, so typically I write all this out. I don't do a full outline, I just bullet point it, or I will use the story arc and timeline spreads in my notebook. Surprise, I sell these, but actually I use them. Someone asked me that one time. No, I don't use them. There's two right here. I don't use them at all. Not one, wait, here's more. Here's another one. I got this one. I don't know where my Pathfinder one is. Also, I think my Druid one's at work. But anyway, if you like what you're watching, consider supporting me on Patreon, the best way to support creators on YouTube. You can get behind the scenes, plus you can get ad-free versions of my videos. Also, live streams, there's shop discounts, hopefully some paper products coming out, definitely a magazine in the works. There's lots of stuff there. Link in the description. So once you have a general idea of those things, you're gonna want to tailor the adventure to your players. Again, you can do some of the stuff that we talked about in that other video, but this is more a focus on getting your players invested in the campaign. Some modules do this. For instance, Drakkenheim was really good with this. Dungeons of Drakkenheim, which is what I'm currently running, has these personal quests in the beginning that players can choose, and it really ties them into the story, to different factions. But even then, I find myself kind of hating this because it doesn't really, it puts a damper on my creativity a little bit. I also really enjoy pulling in side quests and kind of tweaking the backstory to my own specifications. So this helps me somewhat, but I still end up trying to tailor it more. I also have found though that this tends to be the thing that changes the most throughout the campaign. You're always going to be adjusting based on how players move about in the world in the adventure, but the backstories in particular are very dependent on the player. So I find that this is the part that I can be the most flexible, that I can have the most fun with when running an adventure module. Number 3, step number 3? Did I say step number 2 earlier? I don't remember. Step number 3, communicate with your players. Is this a no-brainer? Probably. If you want to run an adventure module, tell them what module you're running. If you are running it exactly by the book, you need to let your players know, because a lot of these books are known to be a little bit more railroady, to have a more linear campaign line. Therefore, sometimes the train stops to pick them up and they have to get on the train, whether they want to or not, okay? Or they get left behind in the dust. A good DM might be able to make that feel less like they're being railroaded by either including other content or chaining the modules, but I'm no Colville or Mercer. My name is KYLIE, not Matt, so I am not sure that I'm necessarily a good DM in that regard. For me, it's much easier to just be clear with my players, hey, this is just what's happening in the story, and just move on. This is not to encourage you to railroad your players. This is more if you are planning on doing something very by the books, you might have to sometimes steer them more directly in that way and break the fourth wall. We could totally have a whole video though on how to adjust a more railroady campaign. If that is something you're looking for, put that down in the comments below and I will try to put something together for you. Number 4, research online supplements. There are so many DMs out there who are willing to put the things they have created out on the internet. Hi. They post that online for all the world to judge, so go judge them. This was super helpful in Hoard of the Dragon Queen because there was so much downtime. There were so many things that just didn't make sense. Even for Drakenheim now, I am looking up additional resources and I'm really trying to flesh out the world more. Also, a lot of these modules are remakes for 5e, you know? They were original to a D&D or, you know, other earlier editions. So that means there are older versions out there that you can actually pull content from. Now, obviously, you will have to adjust it a little bit to fit the 5e rule set. You still can find some good ideas out there to help tailor your campaign. And this also means you pretty much have 50 years of content to pull from. So have at it. Once you have all of this general stuff kind of figured out, then you can actually start planning for the session itself. Now, to do that, you might want to check out one of these other videos that I go into prepping for sessions, and that will also 100% depend on you. But for things like Drakenheim, I tend to do like chapter by chapter or location by location. And then you would do things like prepare your maps or minis or however you do it, or no map, because that's optional. You don't really need a grid or a map for anything, and just go from there. I hope that this helps you get started. What kind of tips do you have for people who are just now running modules? How closely do you run modules to the book? For me, I think it's about 50-50. But again, I'd love to know your comments and everything down below. And if you want to have a few tips for how to tailor your module to your group, to your table, how to reskin it, there's some tips in this video. And I will see you guys in the next one.